Stop right there!
Welcome to Nerds Night Out.
All right. $50 up front. All sales are final. No, you don't get a receipt. Fat Tony can't find out I got this money in my pocket. All right, here goes. Hey, kids, thank you for watching Nerds That Out Podcast, the only podcast in the whole wide world that ever asked me to cut them a promo. Oh.
Did it say?
It said recording in progress to me.
Okay, I'll take it. All right, welcome everyone. Tonight we're before we actually get deep into our topic, anyone who knows me knows that I am a superhero fan. That I absolutely dig superheroes. Think they're the greatest. I love reading superhero comic books. As you can tell by the shelf behind me, I love superheroes from Superman to Batman and beyond. Even Batman Beyond. But I was just thinking today, like, because I know my sons are big fans of shows like The Boys, shows like Invincible, and some of them kind of cross into a border of like, what would the world be like if we had superheroes surrounding us? If we lived in a world where superheroes were a thing?
It would be terrifying. We would all bow down to our masters. It would be a dystopian existence. We would just live under the thumb of
like
these,
whoever, right?
Gods. The equivalent of.
Well,
anyway.
I mean, Superman essentially is a god, right? Like,
and
he's a god that pretends to be human. So, some of these characters have essentially godlike powers. Even in cartoons, you know, hell,
Millennium Superman actually was a god. Like he died and came back, and he can be as he had the power to be as powerful as he wanted to be or needed to be, which means he was more powerful than that dude Goku.
Oh yeah,
I think he was.
You gotta start a war.
Yeah, I think he was the answer to the Goku universe. Superman Millennium.
You know Goku?
No.
You know Goku? You know
I know of.
Yeah.
You know I know that he blew up the moon by accident. And by sneezing. And
Superman got thrown into the moon by accident, cracked it in half. That's the same stuff.
Well, in the Tick.
The Tick.
the moon was used as an advertisement.
Yes, the Tick. Oh,
the moon was scarred.
Well, you know, Q and I are nerds, but we're different kinds of nerds. You know, so it's cool to know that sometimes some of our nerdiness crosses over. I forget that you like the Tick.
Oh yeah, love the Tick. Cartoon series, the real life series was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I mean, those are cool characters, right? Like, we love to see the Tick. We love to see Superman after possibly, you know, I guess not, you know, depending on who he's raised by, right? Like, he's raised with those kind of Midwestern values, and he's not turning into the totalitarian dictator that you see sometimes.
Which is so not realistic. you give a jerk the authority of a crossing guard, and he's going to use it for all of his advantages.
I've seen crossing guards get corrupt.
Yeah,
I know.
So of course, if there were real life superheroes, this place would be a terrible place to live.
So just imagine now that if we took those characters that fall under the banner of like anti-hero, like Deadpool, Wolverine, Punisher, and we brought those guys to life. Just imagine what the world would be like.
It'd be full of a bunch of jerks.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
it'd be full of a bunch of Stone Cold Steve Austins.
Well,
which is fun to watch on TV. But like, you know, imagine like a Stone Cold Steve Austin in front of you online.
Yeah,
it would be a terrible.
What's
place
taking
to
so
shop.
long?
Yeah,
shaking his head.
Well, he had a Brooklyn accent just there.
Everything I do has a Brooklyn accent, even when I do cartoon character voice.
Let me hear Pinky from Pinky and the Brain.
Hey, yo, what do you want to do tonight?
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, yo, maybe we take over the world or something. Like, I don't know.
Vinny Barbarino in the Brain.
Nah, I don't know. What do you think we should do? There you go. But I will tell you, I will say this. Welcome, everyone.
To Nerds Night Out Podcast.
Nerds Night Out Podcast. Right.
I'm Q.
And I'm Tom. And tonight's topic is kind of like what we were just talking about. It's
the
about
real life Punisher.
yes, the real life Punisher. And this is really a fascinating story. And if you are digging this kind of stuff, if you're a superhero fan, or if you just love this idea of like kind of vigilante justice out in the world, then you're really going to dig this story, because it's about Eric Morales Guevara, aka El Martillo, the Hammer, sometimes referred to, depending on who you're talking to, sometimes referred to as Senor Thor. He's a man of dark complexion, of respectable height, by the way. Respectable height of 5'7". And anyone tells you otherwise is mistaken. There's no Napoleon complex here. 5'7", respectable height.
Depends what country.
This country, any country, El Martillo, the Hammer. El Martillo is from Mexico, and he was 5'7", and he was badass.
That's a very respectable height in Mexico.
Tom is 5'7". He's from New York City, and he's okay.
Muscular build, dark complexion.
No.
Sounds like a resume for a Chippendales dancer.
It does sound like
El Paso branch, by the way. And to all of our listeners, when you translate El Paso into American, it translates into the Paso.
The Paso. It's kind of like the Los Angeles.
The El Paso branch,
yeah.
Translated into American, translates into the Paso branch.
So in English, El Paso means the branch.
The El Paso,
yes,
translated to American.
Why do you keep saying American?
Well,
American's
my language.
It's not a language.
What am I speaking?
Dialect. If you're speaking English.
Yeah, into my dialect.
Yeah. Okay. So in our dialect, it's
the Paso.
So it's Los Angeles, right? So the Los Angeles Angels
is the
Angels. The Angels. Yeah.
Angeles. the Angeles.
Well, I'm telling you, this guy, El Martillo, the Hammer. Okay. Senor Thor.
Those are some names right there.
Oh my God! I mean, just imagine.
El Martillo means the hammer.
Right, means the hammer. Yeah. So this guy served as a Mexican Marine infantryman. He assembled and led a squad while serving as a Marine, and led raids on cartel members and drug traffickers. But these high-profile raids were not what made El Marino Loko, the crazy Marine. That's not what made him famous. It's how he used social media, and he talked smack to and about the cartels. And he did this before and after his raids. This is not like,
this guy must have had.
Yeah.
He must have walked like a bow-legged vaquero.
Oh, vaquero, the cowboy.
Cowboy.
Yes.
With balls as big as his. This guy was on social media.
Right. Talking smack about the cartels.
Talking smack about cartels, not just about him, but like about him during his raids.
Yes. So I mean, just imagine that you have to keep in mind that if you want to lay low with the cartels, and if anyone in the cartels is listening, we're cool, man. We're good.
His name's Tom.
Not really. My name's not Tom.
My name is Henry Winkler.
Yes, Henry Winkler, and I'm Ron Howard. So if you're listening to this and you are in the cartel, you guys, thank you for the avocados. They're great. And Pepsi is also good too. The Gulf Cartel. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Gulf Cartel. They were a preferred target of El Marino Loko. Oh, the Gulf Cartel was known for having the police, politicians, judges, all of these guys in their pockets. And they were known for doing what they wanted when they wanted to do it, including, and if you remember hearing about all these things on the news, senseless acts like murdering civilians in the street for amusement.
Just for their amusement.
Just for amusement. They were involved in drug trafficking, arms trafficking, extortion, kidnapping, money laundering, pretty much everything.
These guys just did whatever they could make money on.
Yes.
They just did.
Whatever they wanted to.
There's nothing stopping them.
Yeah. But I will tell you what bothered El Marino Loko the most. And this is one of the things that I spend a lot of time researching and writing about myself, actually, was kidnapping and of hundreds of young women and girls. It's the prostitution ring. It's the human trafficking. This is what got under El Marino Loco's the thumbs. This is what bothered him.
This
the
is
most.
exactly the premise of the last Rambo movie.
That was so good.
As a rule of thumb, don't do anything that's going to put you on Rambo's hit list.
Yes, if Rambo wouldn't like it, don't do it. Don't do it.
Because apparently he just might show up.
Oh my God. That was surprisingly a good movie. For a late entry into the film series, I thought it was very good. But drug trafficking, human trafficking is just, I mean, such. I think I read somewhere that if you legalized it, which God willing, never ever will be ever in history.
Thank God you went in that direction.
I know, but
thank God they won't.
I just want to make sure we're clear on that. They're not going to legalize human trafficking. But if you did, it would be the largest industry or monetary industry on the globe right now.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, that's terrifying. That's terrifying.
Which means it is. It's just not being taxed. The way you just said it.
Correct, right. Like they would be they would be the number one.
That's not hypothetically terrifying.
500. It is terrifying.
That's not hypothetically terrifying. That is truly scary.
I actually had a chance a while back to talk to Tyler Mane. I don't know if you remember. You know Tyler Mane? He played Sabretooth in the X-Men movies. He played Michael Myers in the Rob Zombie Halloween films, and he's really.
Would I recognize him?
You would recognize him. Oh yeah,
with the mask on and everything.
You would recognize the mask.
I would,
and then you would recognize.
You have to blow those burps in that direction.
I didn't burp. I didn't. That was but I didn't burp that time. That's just bad breath, I guess. I'm telling you, I'm older, man. I can't handle red sauce. I get acid reflux like crazy. Anytime. So you seem to catch me on red sauce days, which I guess I have a lot of. But but he was a big. He is now a huge activist against human trafficking. So as you can imagine, he's not the only one. And thank goodness people are bringing awareness to this. I think a lot of people are sometimes surprised to learn that there are more slaves today. People in slavery today. There are more enslaved people today than at any other point in human history. And that's all because of this human trafficking stuff. So when it comes to El Marino Loko, one of the things you have to realize about him is that he is not some off-the-handle, off-the-wall kind of guy. Everything he did, his raids are organized. They were precise. They were successful. And he posts most of them on social media. And he understands that cartels often record the torturing of rivals and enemies and post them online to send messages as warnings and as signs of intimidation. At El Marino Loko, he would do the same thing. He speaks their language.
I can see him right now doing a waist-high TikTok dance with a bad guy blindfolded behind him.
I don't. Yeah, I guess. Right. Just to get. Hey, young people.
How was my TikTok dance, by the way?
Right. Oh, that was good. That was good. And so by 2006, really, or in 2006, that's when El Marino really starts to get noticed on the internet. And this is when he starts to put the Gulf Cartel regional boss, Comandante Toro, excuse me. That's Julian Luisa Salinas in the crosshairs in the city of Reynosa. But Marino Loko is transferred to another city.
Why?
Before they could raid
El Comandante,
they transferred El Marino Loko out. They knew they had to know. This is a city. This is a place where everybody's on the take. Everybody's on the take, so they know everything. So El Marino Loko is in Tamaulipas to raid an ex-mayor and who worked with the Gulf Cartel. El Marino visits this ex-mayor and somehow got the information he needed to find the house of a local drug cartel leader. I wonder how he got that information. El Chive? Chive? Oh, you have to pardon my pronunciation.
So the mayor.
Yes.
The mayor somehow gets a visit from El Marino Loko. That's right. Who's the real life Punisher, by the way. And he gets information he needs to a man named El Chive.
Yeah.
Now, this mayor may be corrupt, but he's still better than the mayor from that Jaws movie.
Oh, Jaws.
I mean, Dios mío, that guy shut down the beach too late and then opened it up too soon.
Yeah. That's much better.
That to me is the worst mayor. I don't care how corrupt you are. Remember that Ford guy up in Canada?
Oh yeah, Tom Ford.
Rob Ford.
Rob Ford. He had a brother as well. they were both like cartoonish characters, but
you know what?
Crack, right? Didn't he do crack?
Oh, he smoked crack.
Yeah.
Prostitutes.
And somehow he stayed in office.
Yes.
I don't get it.
But still, the mayor in that Jaws movie, still a worse mayor.
Yes. So although Marino Loko had an internet footprint and his real name is known, there is still little information about him out there, about his personal life. In his videos, he always hides his face, smart move, behind a neck gaiter and wears dark sunglasses.
Clearly, he's covering his face for his own personal safety.
You know what?
The UV index in Cancun can be devastating to your complexion.
Yeah. Well, Batman doesn't just hide his face for his safety. He hides his face for his family's safety, too.
He doesn't have family.
He's got children. He's got
Batman has kids.
They're all adopted, but he's got he's got one kid. He's got a real kid.
Robin?
Damian Wayne is his son. Yeah, he's Robin. He's the current Robin. I gotta get you more comic books. Yeah, Damian Wayne.
No, Robin's he was adopted from he traded peanuts, like elephant peanuts.
No, you're thinking the original Robin, like everyone does. You're thinking Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson's the original
Watch
Robin.
your mouth.
No, Dick.
This is a family show.
It is a family show, but we're talking about drug cartels and everything. But it is Dick Grayson. You're thinking of
Richard.
Robin. Richard, correct? Yes. But he was not the first adopted son. Jason Todd is the first adopted son, by the way. Just so you know, they're all adopted though, except for again, Damian, real son. But maybe he's hiding his face not to protect himself, but to protect the people he loves. Okay.
But he's not wearing UV sunglasses.
Oh, he's hiding his face. It's design. I mean, maybe he's worried about the sun. I don't know. Like you said, the UV index in Cancun is devastating. And
did you notice that Batman wears eye makeup
in the movies? Yes.
Yeah, it's very goth of him.
The Batman was the first movie to acknowledge that Batman did that.
That's very goth of him.
Yeah.
Did you notice George Clooney's? George Clooney had nipples on his armor.
The suits were meant to evoke Greek gods. That's why, like Greek sculpture. That was that was the intent from Joe Schumacher.
Well, he had the nipples of a Greek god. I can tell you that.
Okay. I mean, I guess listen, if you're gonna go for someone, George Clooney's not bad. You got it. But talking about El Marino Loko, early in his career, he worked for the Secretaría de Marina Armada de Mexico, essentially the Mexican Navy, which, just to make sure we're clear, that's what I'll be saying from now on, the Mexican Navy, because I am...
you don't want to say Secretaría de Marina Armada de Mexico?
No, I love it, actually. I think it sounds beautiful, but not out of my mouth. Out of my mouth is where like languages go to die. There are lots of dead languages, but once a living language is spoken by my tongue, it's dead instantly. I kill the romance from it. I barely speak English well. I speak Brooklynese, but I am the butcher of romance languages. Okay, so on that note, here we go. So he worked for the Mexican Navy, and he fought in the war on drugs, corruption, homicide, and organized crime against the cartels.
He grew up in a town that was ravaged under the thumb of a vicious cartel. So he volunteered to do these raids early in his career. He joined the armed forces just for vengeance. Much like Superman, crime and violence made him.
Batman.
No, Superman with the ears.
No, that's Batman. You're thinking of.
Oh, the guy with the yellow underwear.
Oh my God! Listen, you're getting him confused with Batman. Batman is an iconic superhero who gets his vengeance on criminals. Okay, that's him. You're thinking Superman was not him. Superman was raised by loving parents on multiple planets.
How many parents did he have?
Well, he had his birth parents who got him in a little rocket and blasted him off into space. Probably doesn't sound lovely.
They orphanized him?
Well, that was better than watching him explode with the rest of Krypton.
Whatevs.
All right, and then it was raised by the Kents.
What, is too good to die with his family?
Yes. Yes, he is. Although El Marino Loko's raids were successful, he wasn't satisfied with only putting the criminals in the judicial system. They will go through their due process, but not until El Marino is done with them.
Okay. Before you put you in the paddy wagon, Who's down for mojitos?
You really like mojitos. You really like him. El Marino Loko didn't just, he targeted cartel traffickers, hitmen, bosses. He preferred daytime, full frontal assault raids. I mean, if that doesn't just scream machismo, if that doesn't
full frontal assault.
Front,
he's not coming at night.
No.
He's not
hiding under the cover of darkness.
He's not coming in from their backyards and dropping in from helicopters from the air. These are full frontal assaults. This guy's coming in their front door.
I would imagine too that during the daytime,
cartels. Yeah, these aren't cartel members' houses, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. These are compounds. These are fully fortified compounds. This guy is raiding with full frontal assaults. This guy wanted the cartels to know that he was stronger than them.
Yeah, and he listen, and I would imagine that the cartels during the daytime was when they would feel at least a modicum of safety and security. That you could be out on the street, that you could do your business, and so then
they had hired. These guys had hired security walking around with machine guns walking around from vantage points and checking in on radios. These weren't just like normal thug drug dealers just sitting in their house playing video games.
Well,
these guys were they were security. They were full armed security.
Well, I mean, what El Marino is most known for at this time is his preference for capturing the cartel bosses. The bosses, not your goons, not your nobodies. He would go for the bosses. And what El Marino and his team would do, they would act out funny dances after a successful firefight. I know, that's great. I hope to God that's true. And they would act out funny dances after a successful firefight with cartel and talk smack to the camera. I mean, that is geez, talk about insult to injury, right? And taking control of a cartel boss's compound after a firefight was all like a joke to them. They didn't even break a sweat. They were dancing in the guy's kitchen, making themselves lunches. And
the real message sent after they made the lunches was they didn't wash a single dish.
Not a single dish was washed.
They're in a cartel boss guy's kitchen, making a video of themselves dancing, making themselves lunch. And they didn't wash a dish.
I will tell you,
that's the real insult right there. This guy's gonna come back if he does ever make bail, which he's gonna make bail. He's gonna come home to dirty dishes.
I don't judge people on a lot of things. I don't judge people on a lot of things, but I do judge people on their type of sandwich. I do judge you on like what kind of sandwich you enjoy. Oh my
God! If you put Miracle Whip on your sandwich, we are not going to be friends.
No. No one puts Miracle Whip on.
Oh, no. Thank God! Thank God you said that. We were about to go down right now.
No. I can't. I don't even know anyone in the last 30 years that's bought Miracle Whip.
They might be out there.
Now, are you talking about mayonnaise in general, or just Miracle Whip itself?
I would never put Miracle Whip and mayonnaise in the same sentence.
Okay, fine. So I want to make sure we're clear on that. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So he often, talking about El Marino Loko, he often beat his targets up, then tortured them, and then would have them talk into the camera and say things like, "I am a coward that hides behind guns."
Can you say it more cowardly?
"I am a coward that hides behind guns."
Nice.
And they would say things like this while being forced to wear lipstick and women's lingerie, and they would sometimes order dishes to French kiss their own hitmen. They would post this stuff on social media. Geez,
this gives me real Bugs Bunny and drag vibes.
Yeah.
Like the Punisher and a Looney Tunes crossover.
Yes,
is what El Marino Loko really just became. Now, like that's can you repeat that last?
Yeah. That what he would do to them. Like
what he would do is it's so bad.
Mm-hmm. They would
to these people. It's so bad.
Well, I would imagine to any people. I mean, especially to like these kind of like
machismo,
tough as nails kind of drug cartel people, but to force them to wear lipstick, to kiss each other on camera,
and not to kiss his hitmen.
Yeah.
Now imagine being forced to kiss his underling that he's hired to murder people. This is a murder. These are murderers kissing each other on social media.
Yeah, being posted by the guy who just essentially brought down your cartel.
This has got to. This is powerful.
Right.
This is more powerful than just a couple of guys kissing on social media.
It seems like El Marino Loko is the version of like Elliot Ness that we would have liked Elliot Ness to be. You know, when we're talking about Elliot Ness bringing down people like Al Capone, which, by the way, Elliot Ness had a much better career after Al Capone that no one ever talks about. But when we talk about Elliot Ness, this is the kind of Elliot Ness we think of, but this is what we would have liked Elliot Ness to do, to kind of bring down Al Capone in the same way that El Marino Loko is bringing down the cartels. He really becomes the first returning character in a cartel-related social media video. I mean, this recognition got him part acolytes and really part hate. So people are both tearing him down and lauding him at the same time. But to be frank, you know, most people are lauding him. They're giving him acolytes. They're saying, "Great job. You're bringing down the people that are corrupt politicians, that are corrupt leaders, that are corrupt policemen, are turning a blind eye to, that the citizens are suffering, and here you are bringing them down." So,
being the real life Punisher is part rewarding and part hassle. But to be frank, more Castle.
No, that's Frank Castle. That was a Punisher reference. You said Frank Castle is the Punisher.
I did that.
Thank you. Oh, good. I'm glad you throw some comic book stuff in there for us. I'm a big comic book person, so it's good to know. But clearly, it's good to see. It's good to see that. But I could see why they would call him the real life Punisher. You know, I mean, I could see that. Even the Punisher's creator, at certain points, spoke out against the way like cops and military personnel were embracing the logo. Yeah. I mean, but he does understand why, though. He does understand the Punisher's appeal. So even Jerry Conway, who's one of the creators of the Punisher, understood like why these things are happening or why the Punisher would have an appeal. But do we know? Do we know? I know it didn't come up in my research. Should it come up in yours? Did El Marino Loko, did he actually check out the Punisher? Like, was he aware of the Punisher's existence?
Not that I know.
Not that you know, right? I mean, so probably not a comic book fan, but he was a social media fan. So clearly the bosses claimed they would have preferred to be publicly tortured instead of being publicly emasculated. But the videos proved otherwise.
Yeah, you can't say you'd rather get beat up than kiss a guy when you're on video actually getting beat up and then kissing a guy.
I get against your will.
Yeah,
against your will.
Yeah.
You know.
So like these are cartel bosses. So of course they would say, I would rather be tortured than having had to have kissed my own hitmen.
Right.
But they're on video kissing their hitmen.
Yeah.
You can say what you want to say. They still got tortured into it.
Well, El Marino Loko begins,
which goes against
their
whole
motif, like their whole persona. And meanwhile, El Marino Loko is kind of making his own Senor Thor, whatever you want to call him. He's making his own kind of persona, and he's using the internet to do it. This is one of those things where, like, social media, in the same way what El Marino Loko is doing, is both a blessing and a curse, right? Or simply something that we praise, but the same thing that we also, we really don't want to tolerate or celebrate. I mean, this is vigilantism, kind of,
Oh yeah,
and I don't think there's really any culture on the planet who has a government that celebrates, or like, you know how you see like Batman and the Commissioner Gordon has the light up.
There's no civilized country
right.
that promotes vigilantism like this,
but its citizens do, to an extent.
The citizens are usually split in half.
Yeah,
and if not in half, it's at least polarizing.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
No, it's definitely polarizing.
But it may not be a 50-50. But yeah, he is becoming a name at this point in his career. Let's even say, and he is absolutely polarizing. Now, of course, A lot of the people love him, but there are a lot of people that have the I don't want to say opposite feeling, but think that what he might be doing might
Well, you would hope that
might not be the right thing. Also,
you would hope that in your elected officials and your politicians and your policemen and your judges, in them, you are finding the justice that society needs. But oftentimes, especially in depending on what part of the world you're in, I mean, it could be parts of the United States, of course. We have seen these systems fail. It doesn't matter what country, and it doesn't matter if it's the United States or Canada, Australia, Poland, or Chile,
Peru.
I keep saying Chile, Peru. All the countries that listen to us. Thank you, guys. But in all these countries, you see that there are systematic failures of government sometimes, and it's times like this. It's times like that, I should say, when vigilantism, I would imagine, would be something that would be celebrated and lauded rather than something that would be protested against. But this is just the start. I mean, El Marino Loko begins posting several times a day of his raids. They build up the build up to the raid, the aftermath of the raid, often posting live videos of him and his squad in their caravan en route to a raid. One saying, "You know how I work. I'm not going there to take prisoners."
He was literally taking prisoners, but we all know what that means.
Yeah, we all know what that means, right?
They're not prisoners when he has them. They're prisoners when he's done with them. He was more of the post-gunfight, pre-central booking, lipstick waterboarding department.
Right. I mean, and there are still people who will kind of celebrate that kind of torture or enhanced interrogation, if you will.
He got a lot of information from these upper guys.
Yeah, probably too scared to act on their own.
He in his videos, he does a lot of it. He says in these videos, because some of his videos he did during these tortures. I guess we could say. He says he's doing it for enjoyment, but he's really getting a lot of information out of these people at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
So it's probably a little of each.
Well, El Chive, right?
El Chive,
a.k.a. Silvestre Haro Rodriguez, boss of the Gulf Cartel and Tampico, Mexico, the oldest cartel in Mexico and the second most prolific cartel of all time. Only to another cartel. What was the other?
Sinaloa.
The Sinaloa cartel. The Gulf cartel had illegal operations with countries worldwide and had a stronghold on the cartel business by absorbing most of their cartels. Most of the cartels that they encountered. El Chive, understandably, is a very dangerous man, and this is the raid where El Marino Loko began pushing the boundaries of the law. El Marino Loco's raid of El Chive's compound. I mean, it's legendary. It's legendary. You see, El Chive wasn't even there at the time. So El Marino Loco walked right in and broke priceless valuables, confiscated weapons and evidence, and then stole and threw out, ready? El Chive's father's ashes.
What?
Yeah. And then left a calling card. So the whole world would know who did this. Just imagine the gall throwing out this guy's father's ashes. El Marino Loko found a framed picture of El Chive's father, took the picture out of the frame, and drew a hammer on it and signed it, Senor Thor.
And he drew it in the style of a bored fifth grader. Devil horns on his dad's forehead and all.
Every textbook has that picture.
Right?
Yeah, right.
He didn't do it on the frame. He didn't draw on the glass of the frame.
Oh.
He pulled the picture out and drew on the picture. Man. This guy is gangster.
On his way out of El Chive's compound, El Marino found a couple of henchmen hiding. El Marino beat them up and told them to tell everyone who did this, but not before torturing them until they told El Marino Loko where El Chive was.
Next thing you know, El Chive and his brother were found by the cops in a hospital, all beat up and waiting to be arrested. Isn't that what Spider-Man does?
Spider-Man doesn't do that. Well, kind of, but except that, he doesn't really beat them to a bloody pulp. But he does do that. Yeah, I mean, I guess he ties them up and leaves them. but he doesn't. He doesn't hospitalize them usually. Funny story is that Spider-Man is
Yeah, they were in the hospital.
right. He usually doesn't put them in the hospital. I always wonder about Spider-Man's guns because when he captures them, the webbing only lasts about 2 hours. So let's say he puts you up real high, and let's say the police don't find you for 2 hours. You're going to fall to your death. But
there's a time limit on his web?
yeah, there's a time limit on his webbing. I mean, otherwise, just think about it. The whole city would be covered in it, right? Yeah, but he's but that's crazy, right? I mean, so he's not taking, like he said in his own words, not taking any criticism. This is the act. This is what put El Marino Loko in the crosshairs of every cartel in Mexico. From this point on, there was a bounty of about 5 million pesos on his head.
That's about 300,000 freedom units.
Oh my gosh, freedom! I don't think we measure like what. Do you still eat freedom fries?
Yes,
freedom fries,
yes.
and
my children roll their eyes every time I order them because I order them every time. Hamburger deluxe,
yeah.
The side of freedom fries.
Freedom fries. You still eat freedom cabbage? They don't call it sauerkraut. They didn't call it sauerkraut during World War I and II.
Are you serious?
Freedom cabbage.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just
freedom cabbage sounds so weird.
It does sound weird. So as you would imagine, this is what's getting El Marino Loko on the crosshairs of just every drug lord, every kingpin, every cartel leader, and that is where El Mamido, the spoiled. El Mamido means the spoiled, an infamous drug lord. This is where he comes in. The El Marino raided, then beat up the spoiled one, and then made him put on lip gloss and sexy lingerie. I'm starting to think that El Marino Loko had something going, like maybe he had some kind of unresolved issues, or either that, I'm not sure. But he made him kiss the henchman on the lips, streaming the whole thing live on social media. I mean, the amount of weapons seized during this particular raid was huge. And the drug money, geez.
It was all the money was all buried, and they found money that was buried in 100-gallon drums throughout the compound. Yeah. Now, it's worth mentioning the amount of either was never actually disclosed. And now, out of nowhere, El Marino Loko has this really cool armored caravan.
I wonder how he got it.
Of trucks.
Yeah.
To take to that next raid with a lot of extra weapons and a lot of ammo. So it seems like he might be raiding and using their own weapons against them. I don't know. But there are no documented numbers of what he was pulling from these raids. What he was handing over was a lot, but nobody knows anything. There's no numbers beyond that.
And I mean, I don't have, I should have a problem with that, but I don't. I don't have a problem with him stealing from the people who steal from others.
And then using their own
bring him down.
Money and weapons against them. Yeah. This might come back and bite him in the rear end.
Oh, foreshadowing. The total amount of money and weapons seized from the raids really, of course, are unreported. The number of people he's handed over to the Mexican government is also unreported. And the number of people that said they've been killed during the raids is as well unreported. It is known that he did, in fact, lead many successful raids against men thought to be untouchable in the eyes of the local police and military. He collected countless pieces of evidence to put away and connect many dangerous cartels and their accomplices. And this is where you need someone like this, right? You need someone like this in instances where the justice system has failed its people.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do need people that kind of skirt the boundaries of the law when we're taking on people that have no boundaries of the law.
Right.
And it's sad to say that in most cases, these people aren't able to do what they do for very long because what they do becomes controversial. Now, this is a quote.
Okay.
I'm going to do this in a very graspy voice. Of course, when I heard him say this on the internet, it was in Spanish.
Yes.
But
go for like a Punisher, like a not Punisher. Who might? Well, of course,
I'm just going to do Clint Eastwood.
Go for Clint Eastwood.
I'm doing Clint Eastwood.
Little Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
Dirty Harry Callahan.
You're speaking over me.
Dirty Harry Callahan.
You're speaking over me.
Very popular character.
They made that decision to be thugs, and among thugs, there has to be someone who is in charge. So that man must be consistently macho and bossy. So when I grab them, dress them as women, humiliate them, make them kiss with others, dances, pose as women, it's a way of humiliating them and reminding them that they're never going to be what they think they are.
Wow. Clint Eastwood would be proud.
I'm proud.
And your mom's going to be proud too. When
Hi,
she
Mom.
listens. Well, remember Commandant Torres? We had mentioned him earlier. When El Marino remembered him too, he was the head of the Gulf cartel in Tamaulipas, and Torres had his men kidnap a Marine and demanded a 1.5 million pesos ransom. The family only had 800K, excuse me, and they paid it. Yeah. And Torres killed the Marine, and this act had the whole government had the government request El Marino to raid El Toro next.
They actually, El Toro, I'm sorry, El Marino Loko actually usually did his own homework.
Yeah.
But whenever he was instructed to go in a certain direction, he had to go in that direction. Otherwise, It seems he at least made the illusion of it looking like he was choosing what direction he was going in. With this, he was told.
Right. So this feels like, if this was a movie, this is the part of the movie where all of the vigilantes' efforts are now being kind of like validated and recognized by the people that he's protected. And now they're saying, we need you.
There we go.
Yes.
Now it's the government asking Rambo to step up and actually do the right thing.
Well, they came to him, right? So the government's coming to El Marino to raid El Toro next. So the raid was in April of 2015.
That is very recent.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. We're not talking about something that happened in the 1930s.
No.
Even though I did mention, I burped to the left, by the way.
Thank you. Like a gentleman.
I should have burped to my right. That's where you are. But the raid was in 2015, April 2015, and had a massive amount of manpower. And to keep El Toro from escaping the city, he set up a 32 road blockade.
Of these 32 blockades, 11 of them used burning vehicles as the blockade itself.
Man, just imagine how dramatic that must have looked. I mean,
post-apocalyptic.
In a full frontal assault, he killed El Comandante Torres, okay? And after this raid, El Marino Loko went to the house of the slain, kidnapped Marine. So remember that Marine that was killed. The whole reason that the government even came to him in the first place, he goes to the house of the slain, kidnapped Marine. In the kitchen, he saw a particular item.
What was it?
The slain Marine's wife told him that it was a meat tenderizer. And El Marino Loko asked if he could have it. Not to tenderize meat, though.
Yes, to tenderize meat.
Well, not in the kitchen, at least. And ever since then, it's been one of his favorite instruments of torture and information gathering.
In one video I saw of El Marino Loko, he tells his prisoner that he hopes that the prisoner won't talk so that he can have some fun with his hammer.
Senor Thor.
He wore his hammer in his tactical vest.
Oof.
It was visible in his tactical vest. They have those little loops in pockets.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
He actually wore it in front of his tactical vest.
Damn.
So if you're looking at a group of these guys wearing the neck gaiters covering their face,
yeah,
with the glasses, they're all wearing the helmets and they're all wearing the same camouflage and everything. You always know which one El Marino Loko was. He's the one with the meat tenderizer hanging off the front of his vest.
I got to tell you, that sounds like a badass superhero costume even now.
It really does.
Someone should get on designing that.
It really does.
I mean, his actions made him famous, but of course, not just with the cartels. He was a controversial figure to news agencies, politicians, law enforcement, military agencies, and the civilian population. And though there was a bounty put on his head by the cartels were also eager to hire him. I would imagine that's similar to like what's the Leonardo DiCaprio movie where they hire the guy who?
Titanic.
Nope, not that one.
Basketball Diaries.
Nope, not that one either. You know, I'm never gonna think about it when you say wrong movies. I can't think about it now. Catch Me If You Can, where they hire the guy. You know, they hire the guy that's been raiding, been stealing from them. But I mean, to have a weapon on like him on their side would be invaluable. They tried bribing him with money, women, and booze, but El Marino Loko said that he returned every gift back, saying he can't be bought.
Now, I understand wanting that kind of muscle on your side, but, you know, he's a liability to your criminal interests. You know, ever since I hired that crazy Marine guy, the cops stay out of our way, but all of his partners wind up slipping on banana peels in front of police stations, wearing dresses.
Yeah, I mean, I after what he had done, I don't think having him on your side is a reasonable thing for you guys to do. When I say you guys, I'm talking about the drug cartels.
Not you guys.
Yeah, not you guys. But you know, obviously he returned everything. He returned all of the money. He returned the women. I'm not sure how you do that. Maybe in the mail. I don't know. And all the booze bottles were returned. But that's the bottles, just the bottles. But the Gulf cartel also tried to bring him down legally with their political influence on the grounds, which is, you know, oddly smart. On the grounds that El Marino Loko is using stolen weapons and he has accepted bribes and has stolen the ashes of a dead man.
To be fair,
he did.
Those ashes actually belong to a living guy.
Oh, yeah, no, the ashes are of a dead man. The ashes are of a dead man. They didn't belong to a dead man. He stole the ashes of a dead man.
But
it's the preposition.
No, the ashes are were the sons, and he was alive, so he wasn't stealing a dead guy's ashes.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it is like great. It's like stealing a body, you know.
From who?
From the guy from El Toro.
So stealing a body from a living guy.
Yeah, right. El Marino Loko has been officially discharged from the Marines, but for unknown reasons, the U.S. portal suggests it's due to illegal acts.
Cryptic, yet very predictable.
Right. It's believed that he and his squad are in hiding, but still active to this day, because in
Michoacán.
Michoacán, thank you. In Michoacán, our cartel boss was dressed in women's underwear and posted online, and then found by police already handcuffed. The great thing is that you don't know, is this him or is this people who are influenced by El Marino Loko? You know, it's possible.
Well, in a 2001 interview, El Marino Loko said, "I'm going to use my my gravelly voice again."
Okay.
"I'm already in Sonora. Along with my team, none of us are criminals, nor do we have a criminal record. We are ex-military, trained, and prepared for whatever. We don't harm anyone that doesn't owe it. We come from the South. We have already calmed down the fights there. Now it's the North. Then the center."
Oh, man. He's coming for you, cartels.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, that was our episode.
Unbelievable. I love the idea that somewhere out there, there are real life superheroes out there.
Now, do you want to hear my personal thoughts on this? And it's a very quick, subtle, to the point thought.
Hit me with it.
I believe that El Marino Loko is also the Dread Pirate Roberts.
That doesn't seem likely. You're combining.
No, what I'm saying.
The Princess Bride.
What I'm saying is.
Oh yeah, the concept, dude.
In order, the fact that this guy's on social media, his name is known yet he's unknown. I believe that he may just be an enigma, and different people are pulling these raids. I just think that this guy might not be one person, which is how he's untouchable.
No, it's fair.
Personally, that's my own personal.
I mean, and that's kind of what I was alluding to a few minutes ago too. That the idea that this kind of enigmatic character face hidden, eyes hidden, symbolic person seeking justice can be an inspiration to others to kind of pursue that same route. So is he still active, or is someone else out there carrying on the name? I would imagine.
Was it ever just one person?
Right.
Like we will probably never know.
Did they create a boogeyman?
A man like this can't retire.
No.
He's not. If this man does exist, he's not coming out of this alive.
No, I would imagine someone like this would have a short life expectancy.
Has become a top priority enemy to several cartels, which is
international.
Yeah. Just an international death sentence.
I mean, is there anywhere you can go to hide
from a cartel
where no one's going to find you?
These cartels.
Can we still do that on this planet?
These cartels have business everywhere.
Maybe Liechtenstein.
I guess if you get
it's a small country. It's a very tiny country.
How tiny is it?
I don't know.
Is it smaller than Jersey?
Yeah. Smaller than Jersey. We use Jersey as a measurement of everything.
Does it really count as a country then?
Yeah, I think the smallest country is Vatican City, but we have,
no, that's a city. You just said it.
Yeah, but it's the name of it is a city, but it's a country.
Wait, there's a country called a city?
The country called Vatican City. It's where the guy in the white hat, the Pope, lives.
Who?
The Pope.
Never heard of him.
The Pop. The Papal. But guys, thank you everybody for tuning in to Nerds Night Out. If you've been watching or listening on Spotify, if you've been listening on Apple Podcasts, if you're in Canada, Peru, right? Peru, Canada, Peru, Poland, United States, of course.
Australia.
Oh, Australia joined the mix, right?
Yeah, now Australia might have heard of this American beer called Foster's.
Yeah.
Because I do understand Australians have...
Yeah.
It's not a domestic beer in Australia, but it's sold here as an Australian beer. So it's the best I can do, Australia. Thank you.
We started taking up the didgeridoo just as a sign of our appreciation.
The didgeridoo what?
Didgeridoo. It's a musical instrument. It's a musical instrument. Yeah. But anyway, on behalf of Q and I, we want to thank you all for tuning in. If you were watching live, thank you guys for tuning in. All right, everybody. Thanks. This was Nerds Night Out.
I'm Q.
And I'm Tom.
Deuces, everybody.
Double deuces. Peace out.
You got me again.
That's what I do.
Stop right there! Welcome to Nerds Night Out.